Hey everybody, so in this video we're going to talk about the installation of Wwise. Now just a little bit of background about Wwise. Wwise is a product that's made by Audiokinetic. You can see that I have the web page open for that. And what Wwise does, if we go to the products menu here and look up Wwise, it says that's the most advanced feature-rich interactive audio solution. And basically what it is, it's a plugin for a game engine. So if you think of your DAW, like you're using Cubase or Logic, you have various plugins that extend the functionality. Like you might have extra synth plugins. Say you have Spitfire or Cinesamples or Orchestral Tools. These are extra plugins that expand the things that you can do with your DAW. Well, you can think of Wwise similarly for game developers. So within a game engine like Unity or Unreal, what we can do is use this plugin to give us a bunch more audio functionality. We picked Wwise for this class to learn about, and I'm going to show in this video how to install Wwise. Wwise comes in two pieces. So if you go to their website, audiokinetic.com, go to Get Started, and go to download Wwise, you'll see the first part of the installer, which is the launcher. So download that to your computer, which I'm going to do here. And then it will download. It will ask you for a password and a login. So just create an account and then it will allow you to kind of log in. I've already done that. I've already created an account. And then it will go ahead and download that file. Then in my downloads folder here, if I look at it, I'll see it here, and then you'll install it on your computer. I've already installed the launcher, so I'm not going to go through that procedure. And what I'm going to do next is actually to open it. So I'll open, and it puts it inside of your applications folder if you're on a Mac. So I have the Wwise launcher here. What I'll do is I'll open the Wwise launcher. And the first page that will bring up is kind of a home page where it has various Audiokinetic and Wwise news. It has blog posts and tutorials and videos that you can review. There's in the upper left-hand corner, you can go to the Wwise tab, and this allows you to install the various Wwise editors. I spoke about how it comes in two pieces. Well, there's the launcher and then there's the editor. And if I actually, you can see on my machine here that I have lots of versions installed. Now for this class, you'll get a notice in the announcements about which version that we're going to use for this semester. So it's important to use that exact version. In this video, I'm going to choose the latest one, but in the future, there'll be newer versions, and pay attention to the announcements in terms of what versions to install. So in order to install it, I'm going to go ahead and choose latest for this one. But in future classes, you may have to select all and then select the version that you want to actually install. So I'm going to, for this video, I'm selecting latest, but in future classes, it will probably be different. So you'll have to go to all and then select which version that you want to download. So I'm going to select latest. This is the version, and I'm going to hit install. So I have to log in here. So I'll choose the login page, and this is where I can type in my username and password. I have several logins on Audiokinetic, so I have to kind of remember which one I'm using today. And then I'll type in my password if I remember it. And that allows me to log in. Again, you'll set that up when you're on the Audiokinetic site. Now, if we look at the different options that we have, we do want to download a couple deployment platforms. So select, open up Apple. We're going to choose just the Mac OS. Even if you're on a PC, you'll want to do this because you'll be passing Wwise sessions to a person that has a Mac or a PC. So Microsoft, same thing. We'll open up the Microsoft and we'll add Windows too. Wwise supports many different platforms, including iOS and Android, but we're not going to be using those as part of this class. It also includes Switch and Xbox and PlayStation and many other different platforms. I'm going to click Next here. Then it's going to kind of retrieve additional information, and it's going to ask what plugins we want to use. So Wwise itself has plugins. We are not going to use any plugins as part of this class. Now, you can always add these later if you want, but for now, just to keep the download small, I'm going to deselect all and then go to the bottom and make sure everything is unselected and then hit install. So I'm installing this version. It takes a little while to install because it's got to download everything, and it's probably going to ask you for your computer password. So I'm going to do that now so that it will install into the applications folder. And now it's installing, and we can actually sort of watch it. I can go over to the Finder and go to the applications folder. So on a PC, it'll be your programs, where your programs are located. But it's basically the same. And then if I scroll up to Audio Kinetic here, this is where it puts the editors. So right now it's installing this version here, 22.1.4.8.2.02. Again, that's going to vary from class to class. And you can see it's installing everything into that folder. I'm just going to pick a different one, and you'll see that's kind of installing something called Wwise, which is the editor version for the corresponding folder title. So I'm going to wait for all that to install, and that's basically it. That's how you actually install the two pieces that you need to run Wwise, the launcher and the editor. Once this is installed, we can launch it from the launcher. You can see that I have lots of different versions. Every project I work on kind of uses a different version. And then I can go ahead and launch Wwise using this button here. So I launch it. It will give me a license message when I launch it, which you'll see in a second. So generally the way that you start is to create maybe a new project. So I'm going to create a new project, and I'm going to put it on my desktop. Very important to kind of choose where you're going to put it. And then also when you're looking at platforms, always do Windows and Mac right away. It was built, Wwise was built on a PC, so that's why it always offers Windows first. But I'm going to add Mac to it too. In game development, most people across game development teams use both Macs and PCs. So it's important that Wwise kind of, when you're creating a project, supports both. In general, you don't have to use these. It just makes your project bigger, unless you want to use Synth 1 or acoustic textures. For this, we don't want to do that. We want to also put in the name and the location. I'm just going to put TBE for now. That's to be erased. And I will go ahead and hit OK. And what this is doing is it's creating a folder. I put it on my desktop. It's telling me that in free mode that it's limited to 200 media assets. So essentially what we can do here is just close this window and know that our project, when we're using the free version, is limited to just 200 assets. If we look at my desktop, you can see that it made a folder for this project. What I'm going to do is one last thing, which is go back to Edge, which is the browser that I'm using today. And I'm going to just show you what the pricing models look like. So in Get Started, you'll go to Pricing and then see if you're using this as a professional, there are various versions that you can get. You can actually use it if your entire production budget of your game is less than 250,000 US. If your game production budget is between 250K and 2 million, then the licensing for that is 7,000. So these are the various pricing models, and it has more details about that below. So this is the first tutorial, just getting set up, getting started. And in the next tutorial, we'll start talking about how music is put together within Wwise.